Let's go! So I was looking at all the other nations and other factions for a high caliber autocannon on an airplane for ground striking purposes. Not just the German faction, of course. There's the American peanut butter and jelly, and the Japanese Ki 109. And then I realized something. Hey, didn't the British have like 4 of these things? The Hurricane Mk1 with the 240mm autocannon right here, the Tempest Mk5 with the 247mm autocannon, and the Mosquito Mk18. But Jim, that's only 3 aircrafts. What is the 4th one? The 4th one is actually a heavy fighter that not a lot of people own, and at the same time, not a lot of people want to play with it. And unfortunately for very good reasons. This is the Beaufighter Mk1 with the 240mm autocannons, which is a free reward that you get for grinding the Battle Pass, which at the time it was called River Hunter. And unfortunately, going up to level 51 just to get this thing is really not worth it at all. So what exactly is this thing and why did it not see frontline service? The reason is pretty simple. This aircraft is not really meant to be a combat vehicle, but rather a test platform. Not so much of the aircraft, but rather the 240mm autocannons on this thing. You have 240mm, but they are actually different 40mm. One of them is the becoz autocannon, and the other is the 40mm Rolls-Royce Type BH cannon. That's right, Rolls-Royce, as in the car company. Although I really shouldn't be surprised, there's the washing machine company that made the gun on the A10. It was a bit of a competition between these two autocannons, but considering the fact that the Hurricane Mk4 is using the becoz autocannon, I think it's safe to say that becoz won this argument. But anyway, in War Thunder though, it's really not the most practical thing I've ever used, and definitely not a very good reward for those people who actually grinded their ass off in their battle pass that time. Now, of course, you do go up to 504 km an hour, which is definitely faster than the FC20 BIS, but when you compare it with the ME410, it's not really as fast, and at the same time, doesn't retain energy or build up speed nearly as much. But even so though, the energy retention on this thing is definitely a little bit better than the FC20 BIS, and is definitely more manageable. Now you do have a better turn time than the ME410, although I will say that the FC20 BIS still turns better than this thing. But be careful about one thing though. You're at battle rating 2.3, which means that you will come across biplanes and those low tier turn fighters that can definitely turn in like 2 seconds. Yeah, you are not winning any dogfights in this thing at all. But at least the good news is that your rate of climb is actually not too bad. You can go up to 500 or 1000 meters from the ground relatively quickly in this thing. And you are definitely going to need that altitude and speed, considering the fact that, as you can see, this is not a very survivable vehicle. Not only are you massive, your engines are open block, meaning that they are literally asking to eat bullets. And then moving on, the selling point of this aircraft, which is not really that good of a deal, are your 40mm autocannons. And these two autocannons, even though they are 40mm, they are actually quite different in terms of performance as well as ammunition. Now something to keep in mind is that if you are using the default controls on this thing, you are going to be firing these two autocannons at the same time. Which means that even though it says 12 and 16, you are basically firing around like 12 times or so. But the good news is that the Rolls-Royce 40mm autocannon counts as an additional gun, meaning that you can actually separate bind these two autocannons. So what you can do is go to your controls, go to aircraft, under weaponry, then set your large caliber gun to, I don't know, left mouse button or whatever you prefer, and your additional gun, which is the Rolls-Royce autocannon, to a separate button. For me, it's the middle mouse button. Anyway, apart from that, these two autocannons are actually performing quite differently from each other. Now the becoz autocannon, which is this one on the left, 40mm armor-piercing tracer shell, that pans up to 53mm of armor, not that you're flying that close to the enemy, with a rather sketchy angle of penetration, and of course, like all British armor-piercing shell, you don't have explosive filler, which is more or less the reason why people don't really like to use this thing on ground targets as well, because it doesn't really penetrate enemy tanks all too reliably. And at the same time, even after it penetrates, it doesn't really one-shot enemy tanks nearly too well. Most of the time when you one-shot the enemy tank, it's because either the guy is already damaged and you basically stole somebody's kill, or the second reason is you got lucky and detonate the ammunition. And as for the Rolls-Royce autocannon, Here's the interesting part that actually makes the Rolls-Royce autocannon better than the Vickers S. I'm guessing because of reliability issues. That's why they went with the Vickers. But anyway, not only do you have a higher fire rate with the Rolls-Royce autocannon, you also have a better armor-piercing shell. You do pen up to 68mm of armor. Again, not that you're flying that close to the enemy. You have the same sketchy angle of penetration, and of course no explosive mass. But the good news is that you do have a faster round velocity with this thing than the Vickers S 40mm. Now something to keep in mind is that you don't exactly have any other secondaries or machine guns, not even a single 7.7 running machine gun. So when it comes to dealing with anti-air vehicles or open-top vehicles, it's going to be a problem. And I know some players are going to argue that you can try and use the default belt, a mix of armor-piercing shell and high-explosive shell. Just that keep in mind that you'll be facing more better armored tanks like Panzerforce or Stuarts or BTs, something that the air target's belt cannot penetrate, and you'll be sacrificing half of your ammunition for high explosive. And not to mention, your high explosive shell doesn't really have a lot of explosive mass for overpressuring the enemy target. But I mean, if you really want to use the default belt for the high explosive rounds, then by all means go ahead and do it. But my advice is just do it to the Vickers S autocannon, don't do it to the Rolls-Royce. And then you may have noticed it as well, you do have a gunner back here, who is probably going to shoot the enemy with his service revolver. Yeah, he has no gun. Gaijin, why? So yeah, all in all, this aircraft, even though I've actually played it enough times already, I still say it's not a really good bullfighter. I'd rather just spam rockets on drop bombs, and if I really want to use the British 40mm, I say just play the Hurricane Mark 4, or if you're feeling a little bit ambitious, the Tempest Mark 5. But anyway, that's all I gotta say about the Beaufighter Mk1. Now let's take this thing out to battle and wish me luck, guys. Anybody got artillery? Gaijin, I really cannot do anything for you, man. Really? Oh, come. You want to be a scumbag? Come. Damn it, I do have an angle.
Allied forces have captured the zone.
I got you, homie.
The enemy is winning. We've got to counterattack.
Yep, there was an enemy plane.
Enemy forces have captured.
Damn it.
Attack the B point.
Come on, turn around, turn around.
Allied forces have captured a zone.
What the hell did I do to this guy? Oh, it's gonna get stolen, isn't it? My kill! Mine! Mine! Damn it! They got it. Damn it! Oof. Get me out of here. Here we go. Kinda stole that one, but you guys stole my kill first. And I'm out of here. See ya. Not dealing with a biplane. Move. Oh. How the hell did you yellow my radiator?
Target destroyed. That is the right track. Target destroyed.
Der Hobbys, du Eisengang. Du Eisengang, der Hobbys.
Allied forces have captured a zone.
I kinda stole that one. Yeah.
A little more effort, and victory will be ours. To the designated grid square.
Oh my goodness. Come on guys, it's just a P-26. Die! You little bitch.
270, 1,000 meters. Enemy forces have captured a zone.
Come on, high explosive, do something. There we go. There we go. Come on.
Attack the A point.
Knock it off.
Returning to the base. We're controlling most of the zone.
Steward. There we go. Oof. Okay, down to my weaker 40mm. That is half loaded with high explosive. Yeah, got the bit.